Take a second, because this story doesn't start with a crime scene. It starts with applause. A convicted murderer goes to prison, and instead of disappearing, he becomes famous. Journalists admire him. Writers praise him. Activists defend him. People begin to say he is changed. He is released. And then women start dying again. This is the story of Jack Unterwenger, and the most disturbing part isn't what he did. It is how many people believed him. Before we get into what happened after his release, we need to understand who Jack Unterwenger was long before the world decided he was reformed. He was born in Austria in 1950 and grew up in instability, neglect, and abuse. By adulthood, he already drifting in and out of trouble, struggling with violence and control. In 1974, he murdered an 18-year-old woman named Margaret Schaefer. He strangled her with her own bra. And for that crime, he was sentenced to life imprisonment. That should have been the end of the story. But it wasn't. While serving his sentence, something unexpected happened. Jack discovered that writing gave him power. He began writing poetry, plays, and eventually an autobiography. And people on the outside didn't just read it, they admired it. Journalists described his writing as intelligent and reflective. Cultural figures said it showed remorse and growth. Slowly, the way people talked about him changed. He stopped being described as a murderer and started being described as a symbol, proof that prison could rehabilitate someone completely. This wasn't accidental. Jack was articulate, charming, and very aware of what people wanted to hear. And the more praise he received, the more seriously he was taken. Eventually, people weren't just reading his work anymore. They were advocating for his freedom. Writers, journalists, and activists began campaigning for his release. Some argued that keeping him in prison ignored the progress he had made. Others believed his upbringing explained his crime. And after 15 years behind bars, in 1990, Jack Unterwenger was released on parole. A convicted murderer was free, not because new evidence emerged, but because people believed in his redemption. After his release, Jack didn't fade into anonymity. He became a public figure. He appeared on television, attended literary events. At one point, he even worked as a crime journalist, writing about violence against women. And while this was happening, women began to die. Not in one place, not in one country. They were dying in Austria, Czechoslovakia, and later, Los Angeles. The method was the same, strangulation, often using bras or stockings. The exact same method he had used decades earlier. At first, authorities didn't connect the crimes. Different jurisdictions, different victims, and perhaps an unwillingness to accept what the pattern suggested. Eventually, The evidence became impossible to ignore. Travel records placed Jack near multiple crime scenes. Forensic links began to line up. And in 1992, he was arrested in Miami after attempting to flee. When everything was examined together, Jack was linked to at least 11 murders, possibly more. The same man people had celebrated, the same man they defended, was the same man that's now being arrested. In 1994, Jack was convicted of 9 murders and sentenced to life imprisonment. That same night, he took his own life in his prison cell. He hanged himself using a cord tied in the same manner he had used on his victims. There was no apology, no explanation, just silence. This case isn't about brutality, it's about belief. It's about how intelligence, charm, and a good story can override judgment. How badly people wanted a redemption narrative, and how dangerous that desire can be. Everyone believed Jack Unterwenger, and women paid the price. Take a second, because this really happened. If stories like this matter to you, share this video, subscribe, and follow Criminal Cadence for more real cases. Stay curious, stay aware, and most importantly, stay safe.